Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode here on the PGSMP server. I hope you all are having a fantastic day. I certainly am. And today we have a very hefty undertaking to do, as I don't know that I really talked about it in any of the previous episodes, but I decided that it's time for me to make the next step in, my progress here. And I'm rocking the diamond armor right now, which is doing quite well for me, but of course there's better stuff out there, there's better grade tools out there, and if you can't already guess what I'm hoping to accomplish with all of the TNT held within there and the amounts of gold here in my inventory, well, we are headed back into the Nether. And that's going to be right out this way, so let's head out into the great beyond for a very hefty undertaking and something that's probably going to cause a decent amount of lag with all the TNT that we have here. So now that we are where we need to be, let's go ahead and head into the Nether. So I've been a little bit busy since getting here into the Nether, and a lot of it was pretty dull and boring, so that's why I didn't showcase it. But if you look in this cyan shulker box, you'll see that I've done a little bit of piglin trading and got quite a bit of some good stuff. The terracotta is not from the piglin trades, but almost all this other stuff is, including some iron boots with soul speed 3, a soul speed 3 book so I can put that on my own boots, and a bunch of other really good stuff. What I was really hoping for, what I was really after, was this fire resistance potion. I wish that I would have gotten a little bit more of it because of the task that we're about to take on, but I will at least put that in my hotbar here should I need it, which I very well might, because we've now got to make our way down to the edge of one of these lava pools to get ourselves down to the level we need to be at in order to successfully carry out step 2 of the operation with all the TNT here. So let me catch you up to speed as to where we're at right now. Now I realize that the place that I dug down into is probably not the best because of this basalt delta right behind us. And let me explain why. So if I come down here in this little stairwell, and it zigzags back and forth a little bit because I was running into a couple of lava pools, but if we do that, we eventually come down to this little hallway here. And as you can see, there is a lot of basalt in through here. Now, ancient debris can spawn in basalt, but the trouble with that is that basalt has a higher blast resistance than netherrack does, so you don't really want to be under any circumstances mining through this with really any of your tools, including your dynamite or your beds or whatever method you're using for that. So I would highly advise against digging through this stuff, but I wanted to get into some more open nether type area, which is where we're at down on this end, which is where we'll start using a lot of our dynamite. But as you can see, I did end up running into 2 pieces of ancient debris here on our way down that tunnel, and so there's a lot more of this that we have yet to collect. But now it's time for us to actually start the fun process of blasting some stuff out. So I'm going to dig some tunnels out this way and then fill them in with dynamite, and we'll bring you back in for some of those blasts. All right, so here is the first one. I'm just going to give a brief little warning to some of the other people I've got online right now, because this could get a little bit hectic. So let's do this. We're back after about an hour and a half, 2 hours of blasting away down here in the Nether, and, well, things are not as well as I'd hoped that they would be, but we still have a decent amount of loot. So let's look inside the 2 different shulker boxes I have here. The first shulker box is mainly full of just some random junk, a solid chunk of basalt, as well as a little bit of blackstone. I do have some TNT left over, but it's mainly because my pickaxe is in a pretty rough spot, and I'm going to need to visit the Enderman farm that's been built out by MC Shorty in order to repair that and get it back to a working state. So still some pretty good stuff in this box, all things considered. But if we jump over into this other box, one of the things that I didn't expect to walk away with today was a large quantity of gravel, which I'm very happy about because that means that there's even less that I need to track down for building up some concrete. And I've got 27 ancient debris, which is just under what's needed for 7 ingots. And since I have more TNT, I can come back down here on my own time and collect a little bit more between episodes or off camera. But for now, let's go ahead and head back up to the surface so we can get out of this area and kind of talk about some of my plans for the netherite that I have and what I plan to do with it. Home sweet home. Good to be back on the surface here to finish out some stuff. Now, there's a couple of different things that one can do with these netherite ingots, and the first thing is one that I highly recommend, and the item is a lot more versatile than you think it is. In order to craft one, you will need 8 chiseled stone blocks, and that has to be stone. It can't be andesite, blackstone, any other variant of it. You then go over to your crafting table, place the chiseled stone in the perimeter, the netherite ingot in the center, and that will allow you to create a lodestone. And that lodestone is very handy for a lot of different things. I have a very specific purpose in mind for this one in particular, which we'll look at here in just a moment. But for the rest of these, I think that there's some interesting things that I will want to do. Primarily, with one of these ingots, I am going to want to build myself the Netherite Hoe, because that's just going to be very useful for a lot of things that I'm going to be doing, especially when taking care of a lot of organic matter, because it's super good at cutting down and cutting through organic things such as leaves and other items. The rest of these ingots are going to be going onto the different pieces of my armor, and I've misplaced my chest plate, so I'll have to grab that one once I have the extra ingot on hand. But for now, I'll just put it in my wallet for safekeeping. But let's talk a little bit more about what I anticipate doing with this lodestone. So over here in the nether, also on the ceiling, I have a portal built that goes out towards a mesa biome for collecting terracotta for some building materials. It's also fairly close to some desert sand as well. But in order to find this place, I'm going to go ahead and set a lodestone compass so I can then navigate my way there a lot easier. This stone trail that you see here, it's not one that I built up, but it is present for some people to help find their way. The trouble is it goes all over the place, and it's a very haphazard line, so I will probably come out here and take that down, or at least give a better indication of how to get there if one is not using the compass. This is a compass for my use and my use only when it comes to finding that portal. The lodestone compasses are very difficult to come by, but you can set multiple compasses to the same lodestone. So if other people want to have their own, I would invite them to do so. Just please do not take mine. Because for safekeeping, what I will be doing with my lodestone compass is I will be placing an item frame down here on the ground and then keeping that compass in the item frame as well. And then I will be able to scoop it up and grab it whenever I'm needing to run off in the direction of that farm and get there a little bit easier without wondering where exactly I left it or having my coordinates up on the screen, as that takes up quite a bit of space. So I had a peek in my ender chest, and that's where I was keeping my chest plate. It's got the protection 4 on it for now, which is fine. I don't really wear the chest plate a lot of the time anyway, but I will eventually be adding some other enchantments to it. As a matter of fact, I'll put some mending on it right now as soon as I buy a mending book off of my little villager guy that I have here right next to me. This little cubicle there. But that's going to do it for me today here atop the AFK platform I have. I've just burned through a lot of gunpowder, so we're going to be AFKing this spot a little bit more to help build up some more of that inventory. But thanks again for watching. I really appreciate those of you who take the time to watch these videos that I'm putting out for you. And there is a brand new series that I'm starting tomorrow, so make sure that you check back in for that. And until then, thanks for your time, and I hope that you have a fantastic rest of your day.